They say pain changes you. They're wrong. Pain doesn't change you. It reveals you. If you're still here, listening, it means you've lost something. Maybe someone. Maybe yourself. Good, because loss is the only place truth begins. I used to think pain was punishment, a curse for the broken, a debt for the damned. Every sleepless night felt like proof that I'd failed, that the ache in my chest was the universe whispering, "You were never meant to stand." But I was wrong. Pain wasn't the punishment. It was the instruction. Every scar, every silence, every betrayal, it wasn't sent to end me. It was sent to educate me. Because the universe doesn't whisper through comfort. It teaches through wounds. There's a moment that comes after the storm. Not peace, not closure, just silence. A silence so deep it hums. The kind that makes your heartbeat sound like thunder. That's where I've been, standing in the ruins of everything I thought I was. No friends, no crowd, no applause, just the echo of my own breathing, in a room that used to hold laughter. They all left, the ones who swore loyalty, the ones who said they'd bleed beside me. When the fire rose high, they ran, and I stood there, in the ashes, realizing something. Betrayal isn't the breaking of trust, it's the revelation of truth. When the world forgets you, you meet yourself for the first time. No noise, no distractions, just you and the mirror made of your own mistakes. You start to see clearly that the love you gave was spent in a marketplace of lies, that your kindness was mistaken for weakness, that your silence was read as surrender. They didn't destroy you. They exposed you, stripped away everything false, until all that was left was something ancient, something feral, something patient. At first I hated the quiet. It felt like drowning in slow motion. Every thought echoed off walls that no longer cared. You argue with ghosts. You replay memories until they rot into scripture. But one night, the noise dies, and what replaces it isn't peace, it's clarity. You stop asking, why me? You start asking, why not? You understand, loneliness isn't a curse, it's a crucible. It doesn't destroy you, it reforges you, because love can build a man, but only solitude can crown him. There's a point where pain stops screaming. It just hums, like molten metal cooling. And you realize the fire isn't burning you anymore. It's shaping you. The same flames that destroyed your home are the ones that forged your armor. The same betrayal that broke your heart is the one teaching you how to rule it. I used to beg for healing. Now I beg for discipline, because I learned the wound was never the problem. The weakness was. You reach a stage where hatred loses flavor. Revenge stops tasting sweet. You don't want to burn them anymore. You want to build yourself. That's when transformation begins. You start walking differently, not faster, not louder, just heavier. Every step carrying the weight of a man who's seen the end and kept walking anyway. People sense it. They can't explain it, but they feel it. That stillness that used to scream now commands. You don't need validation. You don't need closure. You've become both the fire and the ashes. It's strange how destruction can look beautiful, how a man standing in ruins can still look like a king if he's learned to stop begging for rescue. I stopped waiting to be understood, stopped hoping someone would see the pain behind my eyes. I buried the boy who cried for help, and from that grave, something else began to rise. Something colder, sharper, unbreakable. They'll call it arrogance, they'll call it darkness, but it's neither. It's clarity, the kind that comes only after everything dies. Because pain doesn't change a man, it reveals him. When you've lost everything, when the noise fades, when the people disappear, you finally discover what's left underneath the ruin. And if what's left still breathes, still burns, still refuses to bow, then maybe you were never meant to be ordinary. The silence doesn't hurt anymore. It's sacred now. A temple built on ashes. And inside it, I can hear my own heartbeat. Steady, patient, eternal. The fire doesn't hurt anymore. It's starting to burn clean. When the fire burns clean, you stop healing. You start building. Welcome to the anatomy of pain. Pacing, slow realization into dark divinity. Heartbeat steady, one deep inhale. Every scar is a signature of survival. Every mark the world carved into my flesh became proof that I endured what others couldn't even imagine. Pain was never my enemy. It was the only thing honest enough to stay when everything else left. It's strange, isn't it? How the same feeling that once broke you becomes the only thing that defines you. At first, it feels like corrosion, eating away at who you were. But over time, you see it differently. Pain isn't rot, it's refinement. It burns away what's weak, so only what's meant to last remains. Short pause, heartbeat echo. You start to understand. Pain is not chaos, it's order. Every wound follows a pattern. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every sleepless night. All of it folds into the architecture of your evolution. You can almost hear it. The way pain speaks, not in words, but in echoes. It tells you what to destroy. It tells you what to build. It tells you who you can never be again. Analytical shift. The body heals, but the mind remembers. And in that remembrance lies your rebirth. Pain rewires you. It sharpens reaction into instinct. It turns hesitation into calculation. And slowly, the same heart that once trembled becomes the blade that cuts through weakness. You don't outgrow pain. You outgrow who you were before it. Pain doesn't leave you. It evolves with you. What used to make you scream now makes you silent. What used to break you now builds you. That's the anatomy of evolution. Not comfort, not peace, but constant, deliberate suffering until you stop fearing it. There's a point where you stop asking for mercy, stop expecting understanding. You start to look pain in the eye, and instead of flinching, you study it. You watch how it moves. You learn its rhythm. You recognize its patterns. And soon you realize Pain was never trying to destroy you. It was trying to reprogram you. Every heartbreak taught you emotional control. Every betrayal taught you self-reliance. Every failure taught you patience. And together, these lessons became your crown, forged not from gold, but from scars. They say time heals all wounds. They're wrong. Time doesn't heal. It teaches. You wake up one day and realize you no longer crave revenge. You no longer need validation. You've outgrown the desire to be understood. Because kings aren't crowned by others. They're tempered by fire. The betrayal that shattered you was the one that freed you. Because trusting no one isn't paranoia. It's independence. It's liberation. When no one's hand feeds you, you learn to hunt. When no one stands beside you, you learn to stand above. And when no one believes in you, you learn the sacred art of believing in silence. That's the secret they never tell you. Pain isolates you to educate you. It strips you from the world so you can meet yourself. It locks you in a room with your own mind until the voices of doubt start to sound like teachers. And in that solitude, something terrifying happens. You stop running. You stop begging. You stop pretending. You start becoming. See, evolution isn't about growing wings. It's about cutting off what keeps you grounded. Pain does that. It amputates the weakness, removes the softness, refines your soul into something elemental, something that doesn't bend. Every scar on my body carries a memory. Every memory carries a lesson. Every lesson carries a weapon. The man I was, fragile, naive, desperate, he died screaming in the storm. The man that walks now, he doesn't scream. He listens. Because when you've suffered enough, your pain develops its own language. And once you learn to speak it, you become untouchable. They thought they were breaking me, but they were only training me. Every betrayal, every failure, every wound was a blacksmith's hammer, shaping something immortal. Pain is no longer the enemy. It's the architect, the unseen hand sketching the design of who you're meant to be. And you realize nothing was ever random. The heartbreaks, the losses, the isolation, all of it were blueprints. Each cut, a line in the design. Each scar, a signature of progress. You're not cursed. You're constructed. Every burn is a mark of divine craftsmanship. Because only pain has the precision to carve a god out of a man. They thought they broke me, but pain was only tempering the steel. And once the steel is tempered, it's ready for the fire. There are moments in life that don't wound you. They split you. Not just the heart, the soul. That's what betrayal does. It isn't a knife through the back. It's a rupture in the foundation of everything you believed in. It feels like dying, but slower. Like your spirit suffocating inside your chest while your body keeps pretending to live. You start noticing the emptiness in the air, the cold in faces that once smiled, the silence between words that used to mean something. That's that it hits you. The death you felt wasn't theirs. It was yours. The day I was betrayed, something inside me stopped breathing, and what replaced it wasn't sorrow, it was silence. At first, that silence felt like a grave, but over time I realized it was a shield. Silence became my armor, stillness became my weapon. I no longer spoke of pain, I wore it. Every quiet night was a forge, every unanswered message a hammer strike, every lonely sunrise a test of endurance, because I learned something in that stillness. Revenge doesn't begin with rage, it begins with restraint. The weak react, the powerful observe. While they laughed, I listened. While they celebrated my fall, I studied. I replayed every lie, every smirk, every moment they pretended to care. And the more I watched, the less it hurt. The pain calcified into precision. Memories don't fade, they sharpen. The images that once made me tremble now remind me what blindness costs. The voices that once haunted me now whisper tactics. The betrayal that once shattered me fuels my discipline. I stopped bleeding for those who watched me suffer. I stopped explaining pain to those who caused it. I realized something brutal. I don't need revenge to balance the scales. My survival is the imbalance. Forgiveness isn't mercy, it's strategy. When you forgive them, you disarm them. They expect hatred. They feed on reaction. But when you stay silent, when you look at them with nothing left to lose, that's when they begin to fear you. Because silence isn't absence, it's calculation. Patience turned into prophecy. Every time I held my tongue, I felt power growing inside me. Every time I resisted the urge to shout my truth, I could hear the universe whisper, "Wait, build, rise." There's a strange beauty in isolation, a cruel clarity. When you've been burned enough times, you stop reaching for warmth. You learn to generate your own fire. That's what betrayal does. It steals your light so you learn to glow from within. And that glow born from pain is different, colder, cleaner, unflickering. That's why I no longer crave closure, no longer want apologies. Their absence is my evidence, their silence my answer. There's a moment when anger stops screaming, when revenge stops mattering. You look around and realize you don't want to destroy them anymore. You want to transcend them. Because victory isn't revenge, it's evolution. Standing where they swore you'd never return, and feeling nothing but calm. I don't fight to prove them wrong. I fight to remind myself I'm alive. That's the truth they'll never understand. You don't rebuild out of hatred. You rebuild out of hunger. The hunger to mean something again. To rise, not because they broke you, but because breaking you was never enough. So I stay quiet. I move differently now. No declarations, no explanations. Just the steady rhythm of a man preparing for something they'll never see coming. The silence that once suffocated me now sustains me. It's the breath before the storm, the stillness before the gates open, the pause between two wars. They think the war is over. They think the ashes mean it's done, but they don't understand. Ashes aren't endings. They're ingredients, proof that fire existed and might burn again. This silence isn't grief anymore. It's preparation. Every minute alone is strategy. Every breath is training. Every thought sharpening. Every thought sharpening the edge of something ancient. Because when I rise again, and I will, I won't rise to be loved. I'll rise to be remembered. They took my peace. They buried my trust. But they forgot one thing. I was the storm that made their shelter matter. And when I return, there won't be thunder. Only silence. The kind of silence that comes before kingdoms fall. Music fades to pulse, because when silence breaks, the world will kneel. So sound, slow ember crackle, substeady heartbeat. There comes a day when you wake up, and the weight that once crushed your chest feels lighter. Not because the world changed, but because you did. The mornings are still cold, the room still silent, the memories still sting. But something ancient has shifted. You no longer reach for your phone. You don't scroll through ghosts. You stop caring who left, who stayed, who forgot. You just rise, quietly, deliberately. It starts with the smallest act, standing up, breathing deep, moving forward. That's how rebirth begins. Not with lightning, not with applause, but with discipline, the religion of those who refuse to die in vain. Every cold morning became my cathedral. Every rep, every drop of sweat, a prayer whispered to the God of endurance. And in that repetition, I found resurrection. Routine is redemption. The repetition of pain becomes the rhythm of power. Every small victory compounds. Every silent morning builds momentum, until you realize you're no longer rebuilding who you were. You're creating someone new, quieter, harder, untouchable. I stopped waiting for help, and that's when everything changed. Because when you stop waiting to be saved, you become unstoppable. No one's coming. No one knows you. No one's supposed to understand. And that is your advantage. You learn to hunt in silence, to move without announcement, to build without validation. The world worships noise, but kings are born in quiet rooms, where discipline hums louder than applause. So I trained in the shadows, worked when no one watched, and somewhere between exhaustion and obsession, the man they left for dead learned to breathe fire again. There's a peace that doesn't come from comfort. It comes from conquest, not of others, but of yourself. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's a laboratory, a forge, the place where your old skin burns off and something unbreakable takes its place. I stopped searching for peace because I learned peace isn't found. It's forged, hammered in fire, cooled in pain. And the sound of that forging, it's silence. The silence of a man too busy building to explain. Pain was never the enemy. It was the messenger. It didn't come to destroy me. It came to reveal me. It whispered what comfort never could. Strength isn't given. It's remembered. And once you remember who you are, the world can't unmake you again. Pain is truth. It never lies. It doesn't care about fairness. It cares about growth. The fire didn't come to burn you. It came to burn away what you never needed. Fear, weakness, attachment. Pain doesn't destroy kings. It crowns them. You don't return to who you were. That version died. He had to. Evolution demands a sacrifice. The boy who begged for understanding, dead. The man who sought approval, buried. The one who broke when betrayed, gone. What rose from those graves wasn't a survivor. It was an architect. A builder of thrones from the bones of his past. That's what awakening feels like. Not joy, not relief, but realization. That everything you lost was never yours, and everything you needed was inside you, waiting for silence to unlock it. Bum. Discipline replaced emotion. Purpose replaced pain. And with each passing day, I felt less human and more inevitable. Voice steady, powerful. I stopped running from darkness because I understood. Darkness was never my enemy. It was my birthplace, the canvas where my fire was painted. The light I searched for in others was never missing. It was hidden beneath the ashes of who I used to be. Now, when I close my eyes, I don't see pain. I see precision. I see patience. I see power waiting quietly in the shadows. And when I open them, the world no longer intimidates me, because I've seen the worst of myself and survived. The rebirth wasn't loud. It wasn't beautiful. It was necessary. Blood and silence, sweat and discipline. Learning to command the storm instead of praying for it to pass. This is the awakening, not a sunrise, a fire that never goes out, not a rebirth into innocence, but into dominion. I no longer need the light. I became the fire, then faint metallic spark. And once you become the fire, the rise begins. There comes a moment when silence is no longer peace. It's potential, waiting to erupt. And when it does, it doesn't roar. It resonates. I walked back into the world, not as a man trying to heal, not as a victim crawling from the dark, but as a weapon, cold, precise, forged in the furnace of my own ruin. The air felt different, the ground smaller beneath my steps, because I wasn't returning to be seen. I was returning to command. The same streets that once knew my name didn't recognize me anymore. The same faces that once pitied me now lowered their eyes. I had become something else, unfamiliar even to myself. They saw the body, but the soul inside it was unrecognizable. I didn't speak their language anymore. Mine was written in scars, not words, carved in discipline, not emotion. The man who once begged for a crown finally understood the truth. You don't chase crowns, you forge them. Every loss was metal, every betrayal, molten fire. Every sleepless night, the hammer striking destiny. And the sound that rose from it wasn't sorrow, it was power. I used to think I needed people to witness my rise. Now I know, real kings rise unseen, because power born from attention dies with attention. But power born in silence lasts forever. Detachment became my advantage. Nothing controls the man who desires nothing. I no longer needed revenge or validation. My hunger had evolved. I didn't want to win against them. I wanted to win beyond them. That's the secret of the throne. It isn't taken, it's outgrown. When you stop caring who notices you, the universe starts to. When you stop trying to prove yourself, you start to become yourself. When you no longer kneel to pain, you make pain kneel to you. That's the threshold. When suffering no longer defines you, it obeys you. Mastery isn't domination over others. It's dominion over your own chaos. I didn't conquer the world. I conquered the parts of me that once begged for mercy. The return wasn't dramatic. It was methodical. You rise slowly, not with fire, but with focus. No announcement. Your presence does that for you. Every movement carries weight. Every word cuts through noise. You don't argue. You don't explain. You exist, and that's enough to silence entire rooms. They ask what changed. They'll never understand, because what changed wasn't my path. It was my posture. I stopped bowing to life, and life started bowing back. Pain was never my cage. It was my crown. I just had to learn how to wear it without bleeding. Every scar on my body now shines like a throne. Every tear became a sword. Every silence, a prophecy. Kings aren't born through celebration. They're resurrected through loss. When I move now, it's not with desperation, but with direction. Every step measured, every decision intentional. People call it confidence. It's not. It's clarity. Confidence is loud. Clarity is silent. Confidence needs eyes. Clarity needs purpose. And when you carry that clarity, nothing can touch you. Not betrayal, not doubt, not pain. You've already met solitude and survived it. You've weaponized patience. You've tasted death and walked back from it crowned. The return of the king isn't about revenge. It's about remembrance. Remembering who you were before the world taught you to kneel. You don't return to reclaim what was lost. You return to redefine what it means to rise. Real kings don't come back to be seen. They come back to be felt, to shift the air when they enter, to remind the world that survival wasn't their victory. Dominion was. When I stand now, I carry the weight of every war I survived, not as burden, but as proof. Strength isn't what you lift, it's what you endure. And I've endured enough to make gods jealous. When I look in the mirror, I don't see pain anymore. I see a throne built from it, a kingdom that starts at my reflection, a ruler who doesn't need worship, because he already became the storm. You either kneel to pain, or you make pain kneel to you. And when you do, everything changes. The fire stops consuming you. It starts obeying you. You become the element, the flame, the architect, not chasing crowns, not begging destiny, building empires from everything that tried to bury you. Every scar is now a throne, every tear a sword. Every silence, a vow. From this moment forward, I bow to nothing, because I am the consequence. I am the return. I am the king that pain built. And when kings return, the world remembers why it knelt in the first place. Thiskins faced, but they called me broken. They called me lost. But what they never understood is that you can't break what's already been shattered and reforged. You made I was died in silence, but what rose in his place isn't a man anymore. It's something forged between agony and awareness, something divine in its patience, something monstrous in its control. Flame rises. Pain tried to own me, but I learned the oldest truth of all. The moment you stop running from the fire, you become it. Now, I don't fear the flames. I speak to them. I breathe through them, because I finally understand. The fire was never punishment. It was my language, and every scream it drew from me was an instruction in how to reign. You reach a point where you stop asking the world for peace. You command it. Where silence carries more weight than anger ever did. You no longer explain. You no longer chase. You simply exist, and the world adjusts its volume to your presence. That's what mastery looks like. Not noise, not power for attention, but authority earned in solitude. When restraint terrifies those who once mocked your pain, when calm feels heavier than their chaos, when stillness bends the room without a word. Pain gave birth to power. Every scar I wear now sits like armor. Every loss that once buried me became brick for the throne I built within. Because here's the secret most will never grasp. You don't need armies to rule. You just need dominion over yourself. Choir fades to wind. The empire isn't out there. It's in here. Inside the mind that refused to die. Inside the heart that refused to soften. Inside the man who learned that control is the highest form of vengeance. They'll never understand how silence became my crown, how patience became my sword, how solitude became my army, because they think conquest is about taking, but I conquered by becoming. I didn't escape the fire. I learned how to breathe in it. And now, I don't just survive the storm, I summon it. Because once you build an empire within, no one outside can ever rule you again. Let the world burn if it must. I am the flame that will rebuild it.